Hola, buenos días. Espero que todos estáis bien. In today's video, we're going to be looking at, if you have the Break the Language Barrier book, level 2, we are on page 36, and we're going to look at the comparison of ser and estar in the preterite tense. So ser and estar is always a problem for everyone, so it's not just you. There's only Spanish that has the two verbs to be. So let's have a look at the actual conjugations, first of all, in Spanish. So for ser, in the preterite tense that we've been looking at recently, we have fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuisteis, fueron. And then estar, we have estuve, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos, estuvisteis, estuvieron. Now in English, they mean I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, and yous were, they were. That is the English. So we don't have two meanings in English. Both of those verbs mean the same thing. And of course, the preterite we use for things that happened once at a specific point in time in the past. Okay, so let's have a little look, just a little refresher. If you're not sure about ser and estar, if you go back through these videos, there is the Kaprinkt and Flommit's video, which hopefully helps you how to remember when to use ser, when to use estar. But we'll just have a little potted version of when you use each one. So ser, of course, we use for identity, nationality, origin, profession, time, natural colours, physical characteristics, personality traits, and any intrinsic characteristic. Estar we use for moods, emotions, feelings, location, marital status. More or less, that's it, I think. But as we go through each one, I'm going to explain what is the reason why we're using ser or estar. So, if we look at number 1, and as I say, we're on page 36, if you have the Break the Language Barrier level 2. If not, no problem, I'll read out the sentence in English first, and you don't need the book to follow the tutorials. Okay, so number 1, the wedding was on Saturday. So, was is the verb to be that we're using. The wedding was on Saturday. So, which one do you think that refers to? Well, it's telling us when the wedding was. So, anything that is time will be ser. So, es la boda, the wedding, fue el sábado. Sorry, a bit of coffee. It's very early this morning when I'm doing this video. Yeah, so it's because it's time. Número dos, the meal was in a restaurant in the centre of town. It was good. So we've got two wases there. So the first one, the meal was in a restaurant. So, ser or estar, well, that is where the meal was. So anything that is where, location where, will be estar. So, la comida, the meal, estuvo, was, en un restaurante en el centro de la ciudad. And then the next bit, it was good. Well, that's a characteristic. So that is fue buena. Okay? Y número tres. At the wedding, see if you have a think about weddings here. At the wedding, the cutlery that was on the table was silver. So, en la boda, vale, for at the wedding. Now, the cutlery, you can either use la cubierta or los cubiertos. So, depending on which one you use, will depend whether you're saying plural or singular or plural. So, if you use the singular version of cutlery, it's the cutlery that was on the table, so that's location. Que estuvo en la mesa. Or if you use the plural version of cutlery, it will be estuvieron, because it'd be plural, but both will be estar. And when we're saying it was silver, so that is a characteristic, so that would be ser. So again, either singular, fue, or fueron, if you're using the plural, de plata. Okay, number 4, the exam was in the school and it was very difficult. Again, we've got 2 here. The exam was in the school, location. El examen estuvo en el colegio, la escuela, and it was very difficult. That's characteristic. Y fue muy difícil. Okay, number 5. In 1999, I was living in England and I was a student. So, en 1999, now, if you're going to, there's different ways you could say I was living. You could say estuve. In fact, really, from what we've learned so far, if all you've done is the book, then really you'd have to say estuve viviendo en Inglaterra, or you could say viví en Inglaterra, because it's at a specific point in time in 1999. So, viví, let's use that because that's the pre-treat and that's the tense that we're using. So, en 1999, viví en Inglaterra y fui estudiante, because student is classed as a profession. So, that's why it's fui and not estuve. A lot of people think of, oh, I was a student, I wasn't always a student. It's not a permanent temporary thing, it's classed as a profession. Y número 7, I was president of the club for 1 year. Again, to be president or vice president or any sort of title, we would class that as ser. So, fui presidente del club por o durante, but not para, un año. Then number 8, numero 8, who was the winner yesterday? So again, a winner or a loser is some sort of title. So it will be ¿Quién fue el ganador ayer? Be ser, not estar. Number 9, it was a terrible party. And that would be a characteristic. Terrible is a characteristic. So, fue una fiesta terrible. Y número 10. Now, she was this is something that I didn't mention earlier when I was going through the potted history of Sarah and Estar, but it is in the Caprict and Flomets. She was my best friend for 10 years. Well, my best friend, that's a personal relationship. So that would be ser, even though she might not always be your best friend. So, fue mi mejor amiga. Yeah, it will be amiga because it's she was. Fue mi mejor amiga por o durante, but not para 10 años. Okay, so vale, I hope that you understood all that okay. If you have any queries, please get in touch. And as usual, if you've got anything in particular you would like explained in a YouTube video, please let me know. I now have 109 subscribers, so I'm very happy about that. Thank you very much if you've subscribed. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see future videos, please subscribe. And if you don't have the level 2 Break the Language Barrier book to follow the tutorials, which, as I say, you don't need, you can get it either here at the centre or through any Amazon channel. Ok, ya está. Vale, muchas gracias. Practica mucho. Vale, hasta luego.